Hello once again folks, how you all doing? This is an old Hornby Dublo A4, the golden fleece, that was sent to me by a chap called Julien. He told me that this was given to him by his best friend back in 1970 when he was 7 years old, and that he recently found it in his loft and would love to see it running again. So this will have a lot of sentimental value to Julien. It's certainly looking its age, I have to say, but let's see what happens under power. Oh, yeah, a wee bit of movement there and a wee buzz. And it's pulling up to 400 milliamps on the ammeter. So I think there's life there, but we'll shove it into the shed and see if we can get the old girl going. Alright, so another old Dublo model. This isn't the original tender. Julien has just recently bought this because it didn't have a tender. So it looks in much better condition than the Locomotive. All looks absolutely fine, so I'll put that to the side. But the Locomotive is in a bit of a sorry old state. It's clearly been in storage for a long time. So there's a lot of cleaning up to do in that body. The paintwork doesn't look too bad. It's a bit, some of the black paintwork is chipped, the front there especially. And there's a little bit of wear. But, you know, considering how old this thing is, you got to expect that. My main concern with these old models is always the rods, because unlike the rods on more modern locomotives, from kind of from the 70s on, you know, these things are all riveted together. So I really don't want to take them apart, although just looking at this, it would really benefit from a complete strip down and rebuild. But that's a place I don't really want to go to. Yeah, I really don't want to mess around with the middle crank. Some of the rods are quite badly bent. You can see this crank's bent right in, so that'll need bent back. So yeah, there's a bit of work to do in the rods, but we'll keep them in situ if at all possible. Other than that, this kind of looks... Oh, hang on a minute, what's that? I was just going to say, other than that, this looks absolutely fine, but I think I've spotted a foreign object. Where's my tweezers? That looks like a nail down in there. It's been sucked in by the magnet, I think. Where it come? It's got sucked further in. Right, we'll open this up and we'll see what's inside, apart from that nail. I'll take the front bogie off. Oh, there's a little retaining nut just popped off that. Take this rear bogie off. And we've got a nut to undo at the front. That lifts off, out it comes. And there is the nail. That wouldn't have done much good. You can see the commutating brushes there are in a right old state. Looks like the ball bearing is present there. There's a right old mess to clean up. But hopefully this will be okay once it's cleaned up. Re-lubricated, remagnetized, and we shall see. We'll put that aside just now. We've got bits and pieces here. Hang on, where's my little plastic tub? Put that in there. And we'll put that aside. I'd quite like to get the handrails off of this. I think Julien told me that he's got replacement handrails, but it's possible to clean these up. So maybe give that a go. I think this is one of the most what's the word I'm looking for? Decrepit looking locomotives I've had, which is a real shame. But I think underneath, once that's cleaned up, it'll be fine. It's not too bad. A bit of paint wear here and there. It's entirely possible that this might end up being a two-part video. First video to get this sorted, and then a separate video cleaning up that. But we shall see. Righty-ho. Let's do the usual business on this. Now my sonic cleaner has packed up. I'm swithering whether to get another one or not. The clock cleaning fluid I use, does the job. It just takes longer. So I don't know, for the cost of them, I'm not sure it's worth it. This is really tightly on. It's maybe never ever been undone. Oh, gee whiz. Right, I think this will do it. There we go. I need to get myself a nice wee spanner set just to keep here. All my spanners are scattered between my two toolboxes in the house and a toolbox in the shed and other places in the shed. I've got tools all over the place. And I can never find anything when I want it. But a nice wee set of spanners would be handy. Just for doing this stuff. Right, okay, out comes the magnet. It's all absolutely filthy. So they'll go into the clock cleaning fluid if the sonic cleaner doesn't work. We'll pull these brushes out. The spring hasn't popped out at all. It's there, it's in good enough condition. Out comes that. Spring popped out there. It's okay. Back off this bearing. And the motor, or the armature I should say, will just come out. So yeah, in a bit of a state, but we'll clean it up and test it. Let's see if we can get these brushes out. There's one. There's two. Oh, this has done a bit of mileage. That actually looks broken. Right, so that needs replaced. I'm going to replace them. I might as well replace both of them. And the rest of it just needs a jolly good clean. Is the ball bearing down and the bottom bearing there? Appears to be. Take this top bearing right out. Get it cleaned up. There is a tiny little ball bearing in there. Just need to be mindful of that. Let's undo the screws here. Bit of slack. So I can get into quite a bit of the axles to scoosh them out and clean them up. So that's really the main thing. And we'll need to set about these rods. You can see how mangled this valve gear is. I think what I'd like to do is undo that. And then desolder that just to get it out the road. I got myself some solder braid for removing solder. I've been meaning to get it for ages, and I gave it a wee try and it's great. I wish I'd bought it ages ago. Far better than messing around with a solder sucker. I won't need it for this, but next time I want to desolder something from a PCB or whatever, solder braid will be the stuff to use. Right, we'll just ping this off. So, and that allows me to get that out the road. Right, we'll see if we can get this ball bearing out of here. Usually just giving that a wee scoosh does that. Not this time though. Maybe do it from this end. There it is. So keep that safe. Pop that in the sonic cleaner along with all these other little bits and bobs. But we'll replace these brushes, they're done. Well, let's have a look at this armature. We'll give it a good scoosh first of all. It's a bit of a mess. Clean out the gap between the poles. I'll get some tea-cut on it. Give it another scoosh. So it's looking a wee bit healthier. Okay, I'll give this a wee test. Nine. That all looks good. Give that worm a bit of a scoosh and I'm going over with a manky brush. We'll clean this up. A bit of a mess. Anybody watching this who doesn't normally watch my videos is probably thinking, oh, you shouldn't take the magnet out. I've got a remagnetizer, don't worry, it'll get remagnetised. Just cleaning it up just now. We'll worry about the polarity and everything later. So, armature's cleaned up, magnet is cleaned up, all my bits and bobs are in my cleaning solution. So, we want to start cleaning this up. I think the first thing is just give it a going over with the brush. Just get the worst of it all off. There's an awful lot of static grass. Yeah, that's really stiff. Amazingly, nothing is catching. It would be great to get the valve gear out and, polish everything up. But, it's riveted on. There's no screws there at all. It's all riveted. It's not meant to come apart. And if you do get it apart, good luck getting all that back together unless you've got the ability to replace tiny wee rivets like that, which I've looked into, and it's a good thing to put out there actually. Does anybody know how to do these tiny wee rivets? I've never seen anybody do it. The only way I can think of doing it is a hammer and a punch. But I just don't want to go there in case it all goes horribly wrong. I'd quite like to buy an old Dublo model at some point and strip it right down, take it all apart, and just see how possible that is, to really strip it down into its component parts and put it back together. And that's the thing that scares me. is the rivets. You can see this really needs cleaned up properly. We'll scoosh out these shafts for the brushes. Put a pipe cleaner through it. Just about every steam locomotive model I've seen that's more than about 5 years old, the rods are bent either side where people pick it up like that. Try not to touch the rods when you pick a model up, especially on the made in China models. I mean, the rods and valve gear and everything on these models is pretty crude anyway. It's a wee bit better. It's really just this crank more than anything else that's especially bad. Bend that out. Bend that out so it's not hitting. A bit of fluffage will caught up in this drive gear. I think this has seen a carpet or two. Starting to free up. I think if we give the axles a good scoosh, this is nearly empty. There we go. A bit of oil and they'll be fine. Okay, we'll let the contact cleaner evaporate off. I've got all my bits and bobs in the sonic cleaner. They're not going to get sonically cleaned, but they'll get cleaned in the clock cleaning fluid. It'll just take a bit longer. What time is it? It's nearly beer o'clock, so I think we'll leave this for today. Yeah, I think this will definitely be more than one video. I think it might actually be, could actually be 3 parts actually. We shall see how it goes tomorrow. But for now, catch you later.